Do you feel fully charged when you get home, ready to give of yourself into the things that you want to do and who you want to be outside your work, your career? Or are you tired and lack energy by lunchtime? Hi, this is Grant Herbert, international influencer and sustainable performance coach. And today I want to finish our conversation around productivity by talking to you about the third area that we can manage, and that's our energy. So we've already talked about priority management. We've talked about our environment management. And those two things working well will also help us to manage our energy. Our energy is something that we need to maintain. We need to keep ourselves at a state where we're actually able to perform. You know, if we're tired, if we're feeling emotionally drained, physically drained, spiritually drained, whatever it is for you, then we're obviously not going to be able to give our best self. So whilst there are three things that I said that we can manage, I believe that energy is the one that trumps the other two. Because when we're at a high level of energy, when we feel good in ourselves energetically, we're able to make sure that we stay focused on our priorities and we keep our environment in a way that it needs to be. So protecting our energy is extremely important. So what I want to do is just give you a few things that you can change, that you can do differently perhaps right now, that will help you to keep that energy level where it needs to be during the day, and so that you've got some energy when you get home. I know before I used to do these things that, I would get home and I was spent. I'd given everything that I had. The tank was empty. And now I want to be a husband and be a father, my highest priorities, but I've got nothing left to give. And I know that hindered me being able to give the best version of myself to my family. And it wasn't until I realized this that I made the change. So for you right now, before you change any of these things, because by the way, you're doing okay as you are right now. Things aren't as bad as we sometimes feel. However, to go to that next level, there needs to be either a big enough reward or enough pain to get off the nail and do something about it. So how do we protect our energy? Number one is that we need to make ourselves our number one priority. We've talked about this before, and I'm not talking about from a selfish point of view where I go, who cares about anyone else? It's just all about me. No, what I'm talking about is flipping our mindset around that and going, hey, for me to be the leader, for me to be who I need to be for others, I need to be physically, emotionally, and spiritually and mentally have enough energy to do that, to sustain that. It's one of the reasons why I'm a sustainable performance coach and not a high performance coach alone. It's all about how do I sustain that? So by putting self-care in place, it enables a longer working day or a more productive working day full of energy, whereby I can get more done and go home on time, where I can get more done and go home early, whatever it is for you. So making yourself the number one priority is the first thing. There's some great books out there, like, for example, Leaders Eat Last. I know from my own experience in my military career and my own upbringing that I actually subscribe to that as well. That as a leader, no, let's feed everyone else first. And this is not what we're talking about here. So we're not talking about, put me first at the detriment of others. We're saying, get myself in the best position to serve others. So it's a balance of serving others with self taken care of. Fit your mask before assisting other clients. So that's the first one. The second thing is, and it's a part of that, is sleep. Sleep is a big one. The next one is nutrition. The next one is hydration. All these things that are a part of self-care. It's about protecting what we allow to go in here. It's about protecting who we come in contact with. There are people who give us energy, and there are people that suck our energy. So all these things that we can do to help us to be who we need to be so that we can do what we need to do. We can keep that energy up. Another one for me is exercise. Every morning, my priority is movement, motivation, and meditation. So getting the body moving keeps energy. And that's not just in the morning. A lot of times today in our world of global mobility, of working virtually, all these things, we sit a lot. And apparently sitting is the new smoking. It's not good for us. So we need to be able to keep our energy up by changing our environment and moving. A great mentor of mine, Taki Moore, taught me this hack, this tip called 50-10 sprints. And I know he gave attribution to where he got it from. I can't remember that right now, but he's the one that I learned it from. And what that's about is being focused in an activity for 50 minutes, which is about the time that the brain can stay focused on that activity with no distractions, no open doors, nothing like that. And then to do a 10. And in that 10, it's all about moving, it's all about hydrating, it's all about doing something different. And that could be checking in on one of your team, or it could be answering some phone messages, but change the environment, move, hydrate, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do. So a 50-10 sprint, that's just one thing that I help the clients understand that I work with can get more energy into their day. Another one is to look at your week, and let's say you work a 5-day week. Well, instead of it being a 5-day week, let's look at it being 10 half days, and then making sure that in the middle of the day, we have a break, we eat, we go for a walk, whatever it is, so that we've got as much energy in the afternoon as we had in the morning. Another thing that we can do is to make sure that we get what we need to get done, the biggest priorities, first in the morning. We also need to make sure that if there's stuff that we need to do that's creative, do that in the morning when we've got the most energy. So there's just a few things that we can do. And there's, when I work with clients with this, there are days and days of activities that we do to help to keep that energy up. I just wanted to get you today to realize that your energy affects your productivity. Well, that's it from me for another week. Join me again next week when we jump in and we look at more things around us and who we are that are going to help us to perform and be who it is we need to be in every area of our life. I'll see you then.